Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher. I am awaiting the presence of Anthony Flair and Michael Bullock. I just got to get the guys in, so just hang for just a minute. That I gave in them the notification to get on the show, and guys, we got a big show to talk about here tonight. We got AEW Rampage, of course. As this is the go home show, the All Stops now leads to the Cow Palace. That's going down this Sunday, as we will have the big AEW Revolution show. We'll be talking about it all tonight, and then of course we got Smackdown Live, the face-to-face confrontation between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. They had it tonight as they are on the road to WrestleMania here this evening. So we have a lot to talk about. Not that much time to get into. However, we are gonna, like I said, get everything in order. We now have Michael Bullock. We are awaiting Anthony Florio. He is now in the building. And gentlemen, welcome guys as always. And all right, not kind of the way I was hoping to start the show. I kind of jumped the gun. I accidentally hit the wrong button and it triggered going into the live. So oops, my bad. But we are now here. We're ready to go. And we're not going to waste any of your time. I know you guys want the wrestling, so let's go into SmackDown Live first, and then we'll go into Rampage, and then we will preview Revolution tomorrow night. So, or I should say on Sunday night. So, starting it off was the promo segment between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, and this was excellent. I mean, you saw exactly what it needed it to be. Strong opener. And the thing is that, you know what? Everything that was said and everything else, uh, it was basically that they did not, they lived it up. Roman and Cody are great talkers. They're great on the mic. We can say that. But the one moment that really stood out to me where I was like, oh my God, was literally the minute where Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns was like, all right, and he's like, I know this is going to upset you. And he grabs the WWE title, throws it right to the mat, right in front of him. Throws the Universal Championship, lays that across the ring. He's like, what do you want to talk about? What? Really? Okay. Message sent. Here we go. So then they start talking everything. They get into it. Just was exactly what it needed it to be. And you know, I think the one thing that really looked interesting was, you know, Cody laid it out, talking about his dream, talking about what he wants to do to win WrestleMania, and we had that mutual respect at the end with the handshake, which honestly I didn't think was going to happen. But all in all, segment of the night, absolutely perfection in my eyes. I mean, you want to talk about booking a WrestleMania match correctly? I got to give it up to Triple H and the staff, man. They did it. They nailed this. This was a perfect booking decision in my eyes heading into Mania. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, they could have done this a million different ways. They went with a way that felt authentic, felt real. And for me, I'm excited for this match now at WrestleMania. This is going to be an all-time classic.
Oh, absolutely. You hit everything on the head here, MF. This was extraordinary television by two guys in tune with their characters and the stories they are trying to tell. The facial expressions of both were outstanding, but it was the work of the tribal chief as he exited the ring that really told the story. He flashed a smile that exuded fake confidence before the camera caught real uncertainty. He looked over his shoulder, expecting Cody to attack, but realized that the Royal Rumble winner refused to lose his cool and bite. Cody Rhodes is a different beast than what Roman Reigns has faced to this point. He is laser-focused and will not give in to the champion's manipulative ways. He cannot be mentally toyed with. That may be the difference between the American Nightmare doing what no other man has to this point, defeating Roman Reigns for the top prize in professional wrestling. Fantastic stuff to start the show. Where do I even begin with highlights? I mean, the pops for both men are proof positive of why they are headlining WrestleMania. Cody, he's slyly insinuating, he said, unless you feel you need them here, insinuating that Roman needed the bloodline as his backup. And then Roman mocked Cody, Cody's typical opening line asking, so what do you want to talk about? And then Roman, again, mocking Cody's promo style, saying, it's like you've been rehearsing that all week or something. And then Roman said to Cody, hey, I've been groomed since I was just a little boy, not just by my father, but by your father too, striking a nerve. And Roman's dusty impression was on point. And he was like, when I was in there, it was like you did not exist, Roman said of his time under Dusty's learning tree. If there's anything he didn't teach you, I will. And that's how Roman wrapped up his promo there. And then in response, Cody said, the only way I can exist is by beating you at WrestleMania. May the better man win. May not be for everybody, but for us, this was the segment of the night. This was very well done. And the first face-to-face definitely went very well here. No question about it. And it finally, gave us the excitement. It gave us a reason to be excited about this match. And the excitement level when it comes to all of us for this match has definitely gone up. Maybe sky high here or exponentially here. So that's all there is to say on that. That was the segment of the night. Very well done. And me personally, I've been excited for this match ever since, Cody won the Rumble. That's when Cody won the Rumble, I'm like, yeah, I started getting excited about this match come WrestleMania, and here we are. It has the potential to be an all-time WrestleMania main event. I mean, you think of all the great main events in WrestleMania history. I mean, the ones that we consider all-timers. Rock Austin 2 at WrestleMania 17, which I still consider the greatest of all time. Of course, the Triple Threat at 20. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit. That 5-star. I mean, so many great. Those were the two greatest. I mean, there have been others, but those are hands down the two standard bearers when it comes to WrestleMania main events. So not much. And could this one be added? We'll find out. There is a chance. So depends on the time they're given and the whole nine. So not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, come on in, Phenom, and the first face-to-face with Cody and Roman, well done.
Well, like you said, I mean, this first promo with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, I mean, it was just absolute spot on, and it just now gets me like so excited for this match at WrestleMania. I mean, I know some are going to say this is not for them, and you know, and as the old saying goes, guys, you can't please everybody. And but the thing is, if they build this the right way, it's definitely going to get my excitement for this sky high. And I mean, the way this has been built so far, I mean, it's just. I mean, you could just see Roman is trying to get into the head of Cody Rhodes, even bringing up his father. I mean, but Cody is like, hey, he's worked so hard for this opportunity, and he's not going to let this opportunity pass by him. That he wants to be the one to end the reign of the tribal chief. So I'm really looking forward to this match, guys. As I'm pretty sure we all are. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Great first promo by these two, and who knows what the remainder of this road for these two have leading into their big time bout at WrestleMania. So there's really nothing more for me to say except let's move on, Fletch.
All right, and indeed, we will indeed and move on. And it was Rhea Ripley going one-on-one with Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley winning the match in 8 minutes and 12 seconds with she hit the riptide first, and then with an inverted Texas cloverleaf for a tap-out victory. She actually made Liv Morgan submit, which is something that none of us saw coming. Anthony Florio, was that a message to the Queen Charlotte Flair?
Answer, yes. I believe in my heart of hearts that it was. Because we know Charlotte's a submission specialist because of that figure 8 that has won her how many matches and championships? Too many to count. So, all right. We saw the final 2 combatants in this year's Royal Rumble square off in tonight's opening wrestling match as Rhea Ripley squared off with Liv Morgan. Rhea sought to maintain the momentum entering WrestleMania in her upcoming SmackDown Women's title match against Charlotte Flair, and she did just that. Ripley was relentless and physically superior, overwhelming Liv Morgan at every turn before downing her with the riptide. Rather than settling for a pinfall win, she tapped her out with an inverted cloverleaf submission. This was a great way to further establish Ripley. Liv Morgan is popular and fans buy her as a former champion. For Mami to essentially steamroll her on the way to the grandest stage of them all was a booking decision that will further announce to the world that she is the star they should be paying close attention to. Morgan may not be in a position she should be entering the biggest show of the year, but she is still over with audiences, which will only help any attempt to heat her back up in the wake of the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And Ripley spoke to Charlotte through the camera mid-match as she asserted her dominance over Liv Morgan. Give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. I think the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, we all had a feeling Rhea was going to go over here to keep the momentum going for WrestleMania and that huge SmackDown Women's title match with Charlotte. And I'm already going on the record. I think Rhea Ripley is going to walk out of SoFi, the new SmackDown Women's Champion. So there isn't much more for me to say on this. So Michael Bullock, 2.5, 2 3/4 for the effort. Rhea Ripley knocking off Liv Morgan, not just with riptide, but with a very painful submission hold, that inverted cloverleaf, definitely sending a message to Charlotte in response to her figure 8.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she responded in a big way and basically saying that that Charlotte has been warned here, and especially with this version of a clover leaf, and why that Charlotte needs to take Rhea very seriously here. So, and I'm with you, Florio. I'm already going on the record as well and saying I think we're gonna have a new SmackDown Women's Champion in Rhea Ripley, and here's something else, guys, that I want to address. Remember, like after the match, they showed a little girl like crying, like right after when Liv Morgan tapped out. Well, I saw something on what was that? On Instagram, and Liv Morgan basically invited the young girl backstage and just gave her a big hug. I mean, that to me is what it's all about, guys. I mean, for her to take this opportunity to make a young girl's day by just basically cheering her up by doing something like that. I mean, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. I mean, just to see the two of them have a conversation. I mean, I'm sure that's something that little girl is going to remember for a very long time. So, 2.5, 2 3/4 on this. So Fletch, it is yours.
You know what? I gotta say, if there's one thing that you can do to help Liv keep that momentum going, now I don't know if they still do this, but you remember there was that women's WrestleMania Battle Royale. Now, I don't know if they still do it or not for WrestleMania, that women's Battle Royale, but maybe give her the win. Let Liv Morgan win that Battle Royale. I mean, that's a major push. And if you remember, I think the only ones that I can remember that won it was Naomi won it. And who else? Carmella won it. And who else? Who else won that Battle Royale?
I think those were the only two.
Yeah.
I
And
don't recall there being any others.
Huh?
I don't recall there being any others after
Yeah.
Mella at 35 because of the.
Yeah, those are the only two I can even remember.
Yeah. So honestly, if they bring it back, which I think they should, that's how you give Liv Morgan their win back. You let her go all the way, win that Battle Royale, and then from there, because you know that's going to open the door for Liv. Because remember, when Mella won it, she already was established. And as a matter of fact, I think I remember she actually parlayed it into actually a pretty decent run, because after that, that's when I believe she went on to become SmackDown Women's Tag Champ. Well, Women's Tag Champs. Not that far down the line. Then, of course, and we already know the other one, the success that Asuka had winning that Battle Royale, and now she might be, and in all intents and purposes, a lot of people are believing she could be the next Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. So why not? You want to keep it going, that's how you do it. All right. So 2.5 stars, agreed, and we'll move right on along. So next that we had was Santos Escobar versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio wins the match in 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Yeah, there was a little bit of some cheating in the fight. Dominic try to pull the brass knucks. Then Rhea Ripley used the riptide on Santos Escobar that led to Dom getting the frog splash win and getting the 1, 2, 3. But then Dom does something really low, and this triggered a lot of fans. Dom grabbed the mask, the very same mask that Rey Mysterio gifted it to Santos Escobar, and he ripped the mask. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
All right. First off, 2.5 stars on the match. But Fletch, I know the whole Lucha Libre mask is something that's near and dear to your heart. You followed Lucha Libre wrestling for a long time. But what Dominic Mysterio did tonight, I mean, he's done some pretty low and disgusting things, but none more low than what he did tonight. He took the prestige, that is the mask, that the Lucha Libre mask that Ray gifted Santos Escobar, and he ripped it. That, my friend, is the most unpardonable of all sins that you can ever do. Dom, you just pissed off a lot of people because Fletch knows a lot about the pride, the heritage, of wearing that Lucha Libre mask. It's how do you say it, Fletch? Because you know about this more than I do.
It's family tradition. It's passed down from generation to generation to generation. What Dom just did, he not just spit in the family's name. He's literally spat at the ancestry of the Mysterio legacy. That's what he did here tonight.
And not just the Mysterio legacy, but the legacy of every great Lucha Libre wrestler that has donned the mask. Yeah. I mean, just think of all the greats that have worn the mask. I mean, not just Rey Mysterio. I'm trying to think who else has worn it. That's Mil Mascaras. Mil Mascaras.
The Gran Uno. I could go with Juventud Guerrera had a mask. Cibernetico had a mask. You know, and even the current guys in AAA. I mean, from the Blue Demon to Ivanos you had multiple Ivanos. You had
the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, Lucha Bros. You can go there. El Hijo de Vecino, who's right now the current heavyweight champion of the world, the AAA Mega Campeón. So there's so many that we can go. There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and Dominic Mysterio just spit in the face of those greats who have donned the mask for so long. And that pissed off, I mean, Ray was not happy about it at all. And the thing is, when he ripped it, you could just see the look in the eyes of Santos Escobar. I mean, he was heartbroken that this happened. And then Dom's like, "Oh yeah? Well, why don't you do something about it, Ray?" And then Dom just hit Rey Mysterio. I mean, the thing is, Fletch, how much more of this can Rey Mysterio take before he finally decides, as the late great Owen Hart would say, enough is enough? When is Rey going to finally grow a set and basically do something? We know what's going to happen. The only thing is, when will it happen? I mean, I understand WWE is trying to build heat on Dominic Mysterio, and they've done a good job with it. I'll give them that, Fletch. But to me, they went out of bounds with this one tonight. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it the way I see it. So, I mean, you basically, like I said before, spat in the face of all the greats that have donned that mask. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Like I said, 2.5 on the match, but this was just totally out of bounds with this tonight. So that's my grief. That's my rant I just went on. So Fletch, it's yours. Because if I know you, my friend, part of you was probably like, really, WWE, or really, Dom, you really had had to piss me off like this.
Oh yeah, I think on the commentary, and Anthony knows it, and you know it. I was visibly upset, um, because of the mask, because of that, and because of what the representation of it, and they did as good of a job to give him that heat. I honest to goodness, if you did that anywhere else in the world, oh my god, especially if you would have done it like I get it, and the fans got it, and that's why they did it, and it serves its purpose. Eventually, we will get Ray versus Dom at WrestleMania. It's just they gotta play that card out. They gotta go all the way through. And yeah, was I angry? Absolutely. I was furious with that segment. But at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do. And, so yeah, it was, they did a good of enough job to bring that heat and to bring everything that they needed it to do. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. The match was curiously booked in that one would assume Santos Escobar would have dominated until the cheap win. Instead, the focus was put on Dominic. Given the fact that he presumptively has a match with his father at WrestleMania, it makes sense to highlight him, but that could have been established while still playing up the cowardly elements of the character. The post-match, which amplified Dominic's degradation of his father, helped the segment recover as the creative forces closer to the father-son showdown we were not all that sure we were ever going to see. Escobar brought the mask given to him by Ray to the ring with him, and then Santos asked him, "Do you respect your legacy?" And then Dominic exclaimed, "No." And then Dominic teased the 619, but opted to choke Escobar on the ropes. Rhea Ripley with a riptide on Santos Escobar on the floor while Dominic distracted the referee, Jason Ayers. After the match, Dom ripped his father's mask as Escobar shouted from the ring, recognizing the implications of his opponent's actions. And then Ray interrupted the post-match antics of his son, only to again refuse to strike his firstborn. Dominic did not share the same hesitations, blasting Ray on the ramp. Considering we still have got about 4 more shows to go through here. Don't worry, the powder keg is going to explode eventually. You know it will. I mean, remember how they booked Brett and Owen. Let's not forget how that was booked. Brett was very reluctant. We all know how reluctant he was. But then Owen just kept goading and goading and going, and then Brett finally snapped. So eventually Ray will snap. We just don't know when. So 2.5 stars for the match. And yes, I literally had to hold MF back on commentary there because MF was going even more crazy than Michael Cole did. I mean, you heard how Michael Cole was. I mean, I was having flashbacks to the early days of SmackDown when Michael Cole and Taz were working together. Remember when Michael Cole would go on those little tirades at times? I felt that Michael Cole of like 2003, 4, 5, somewhere in that area. I mean, I was having flashbacks, and that's exactly what it was. And but MF, words could not describe how. I mean, MF was right up there with Gorilla. It was right up there with JR, Michael Cole, what have you. Yeah. So that's all I could say on that. So 2.5 stars. Don't worry, we're getting the payoff soon enough. We still have a ways to go. That's why. What has been the theme of Triple H and his creative team? Long-term storytelling and booking. This is just another example, one of the many examples of it. Payoff's coming. Just be patient. 2.5. Move on, MF.
Next up, we had was Shayna Baszler going one-on-one with Tegan Knox. Shayna Baszler winning the match in about less than 2 minutes. Don't really need to say anything about that one. We could say by default, worst fight of the night. Then after that, let's see. Then there was actually a promo segment. It was Bobby Lashley with with Uncle Howdy. So nothing more to say about that. We're just gonna let it be on that one. But then the next thing that we do have is the main event: Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn. Solo winning the match in 7 minutes and 13 seconds. Solid main event. Solid main event and good. It was a solid fight. Solo getting the embryonic spike to win it after Jimmy Uso saved Solo from the haluva kick. However, after that, Solo went for the chair to try to basically take him out, and Jimmy actually is like, no. That I guess he wanted to do it, but that was a mistake because then it was a holy backfire Batman, and Jimmy Uso ended up biting it and getting the haluva kick at the end. So, yeah, pretty good way to close the show with a 3-star bout. Actually, I want to say, yeah, about 2.5 to 3. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
What was that time again?
7:13.
7:13. About 2.5 to 3 on that one. I agree. The match went about as one would expect, with Sami starting hot before Solo slowed the pace and worked him over. Match itself was fine, but the meat of the segment was the post-match booking. Jimmy Uso, Uso is under a ton of scrutiny for not returning his brother to the fold. That's Jimmy Uso. He's under a ton of scrutiny for not returning his brother to the fold and only dug himself deeper with his failure here. Sami remained red hot, managing to generate chants of Sami as the show went off the air, even after enduring a defeat. It is a testament to the storytelling that he remains as over as he is, even without the wins to support it. You notice the Roman watching intently from the locker room. Sami is the problem that should have been left in Montreal, but is the problem the bloodline simply cannot shake. Exactly what Wade Barrett said on commentary. Sami scored a near fall off a Blue Thunder bomb, and Roman looked on approvingly as Solo scored the tainted win, a la the amniotic spikes. So 2.5 to 3 on this one. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, here it is again. More long-term storytelling and booking, because we know where this is all going. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. No payoff yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, there is no payoff yet, but it's coming. We're gonna get that tag team title match at WrestleMania. It's just the term of the booking that Triple H is doing right now. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. 2.5 to 3. I mean, this really continues this whole storyline with Sami and the bloodline. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's get into our overall thoughts.
Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Not one of the better shows, even though, you know, we did have that big moment with Cody and Roman. The matches were solid to good. I mean, nothing like, you know, blow away. But the best I can go is maybe 6.5 for this one. Even though, like I said, the best part of this show, hands down, was the opening segment with Roman and Cody. And that really did it for me. I mean, the matches were solid, but nothing was overly spectacular. So, and then the closing angle with Sami and the Usos and the ongoing bloodline family drama there. So, yeah, it was just an IH show for me. And then, but you got two big ones. You got a couple of good matches next weekend, F. You got Braun Strowman and Ricochet against the Viking Raiders. But a huge match here, a fatal 5-way match. Kofi Kingston, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. And the winner of that match will challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania in Pittsburgh. And and we'll see if Jey Uso shows up for that show too. We'll find out if he shows up. So it's 6.5 for tonight, but I got a feeling Pittsburgh might have a good one in store next week. We'll find out. And if Jay's there, who knows? Maybe that's where we get the trigger push. Maybe they pull the trigger finally on the Usos, KO, and Sammy. So 6.5 for me. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 6.5. I'm with you on this one. I mean, it was, let's just say it was solid, but not overly spectacular. I mean, you had some good things here, but there were some things that I think definitely could have been better. But all in all, it wasn't that bad of a show. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but it is what it is. So 6.5. Let's get to your thoughts and then quickly get into Rampage.
Yeah, no arguments here. At least 6.5. I mean, it was a good show. It served its purpose on multiple levels, and could have been better. Absolutely, no arguments there. But at the end of the day, I thought they did all right. I thought they did okay with it. So next up, we do have is Rampage that we're going to get into. Starting it off with a fatal 4-way tag team fight, as it was Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli representing the Blackpool Combat Club against Top Flight, the Martin Brothers, John Silver and Alex Reynolds representing Dark Order, and Aussie Open. The winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 34 seconds was the Blackpool Combat Club. Solid opener, good matchup. I would say about maybe 2 and 3/4 to 3 stars. Solid fight. Lots of action. And I thought the right team won anyway. So nothing more to say. Anthony Floyo, it's yours. Blackpool Combat Club wins it at 9:34.
3 stars for me. The problem with a match this size is that nobody ever gets to spend too much time in the ring because there are 8 different people who need to be highlighted. These 4 teams did a good job balancing their time, so it never felt like one team was in control for too long, which also made the outcome harder to predict. After several double team spots from all 4 teams, Wheeler Yuta was able to score, was able to pin Darius Martin to give Blackpool Combat Club the win. Silver and Reynolds attacked them after the match and kept the fight going. Aussie Open has been a lot of fun in AEW. It would be great to see them stay for a while if they don't head right back to New Japan. Claudio's music always gets a big pop. Mark Davis and Eddie Kingston need to have a singles match at some point. Those two would match up so well together. And the standing double stomp Alex Reynolds hit on Wheeler Yuta looked good to me. So I'm not surprised with the outcome. I had a feeling Claudio and Wheeler were going to win this match because they were, the most over of the 4 teams. So that's all I can say there. So solid 3 for this one. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a solid 3 for me as well. I mean, it was a solid match, just a good way to start off Rampage. I mean, so yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said everything on it. So let's move right along.
All right, next up we have was Rio going up against Ima Sakura, and it was Rio winning the match in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
Another 3-star match. This was a competitive bout between 2 women who know each other better than most. They did not hold back and brought out the best in each other. Rio eventually scored the win with a nice pinning combination. Emi Sakura moves around with more speed than you would expect just from looking at her. And Rio may be small, but the way Sakura is able to catch her so easily is still impressive. Solid 3 stars. And who knows, guys, this may be the start of Riho getting back into the women's title picture down the road. Future title opportunity, maybe. So another solid 3 stars for this. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on Riho knocking off Emi Sakura?
Yeah, 3 stars for me. I mean, this was another solid match here. I mean, yeah, Rio looks like they're starting to build her once again. Yeah, I think they're starting to build her back to being what she was when she first became the AEW women's world champion. So yeah, so we'll see how this goes with it. So a nice victory for her. So there's really nothing more to say. So Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, another 3 stars, solid matchup. Could have been better? Yeah, it could have, but it was a solid fight. I think Riho is definitely getting back into that swing of things where she has become once again a viable option that she could become once again the AEW Women's World Champion if everything goes according to plan. So yeah, solid performance. I enjoyed it. Good match, and we move on. It was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Supernetico. Powerhouse Hobbs wins in 40 seconds. Dud. Worst fight of the night. Nothing more to say there. Main event tag team fight. Parker Bordeaux and Swerve Strickland versus Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee. Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes winning the match in 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event.
Yeah, this to me was the fight of the night. I'll give it about 3.5 stars for this. A good solid way to close the show. I mean, Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee get the win here, but I got this funny feeling that Keith Lee is far from done with Swerve Strickland and his gang. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, you said it. 3 stars. I think there's really nothing more to add on this one. So Anthony, it's yours.
3.25 stars by default. The fight of the night, even though it was not really a blowaway match or anything. So, so with that, let's get into our overall thoughts.
All right. Solid 7. I think that's really pretty much all that we really need to know. So 7, and Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 6.5 to 7 for me. The main event was the by default fight of the night. The other 2 matches were all right, and then we had the powerhouse squash. So around 6.5 to 7, maybe just 7 out of 10. I think I'll go with that. So not much more to say. Bullock, take this home, and then we'll get into our preview of Revolution.
Yeah, 7 for me as well. I mean, it was a good show. Definitely could have been better, but yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's get into our preview of Revolution.
All right, and we have 9 matches on the fight card, guys. That's going down tomorrow on Sunday night from the Chase Center in San Francisco. And here is the official fight card. Starting it off, 6-man tag team bout. Arya Davari, Josh Woods, and Tony Nese going up against the Lucha Bros and Mark Briscoe. This kind of was thrown last minute. I didn't see any booking for this one at all. This probably was a virtual conversation that came down. To me, I'm just going to go straight up. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros should win this match and win it pretty comfortably. Anthony, it's yours.
Agreed. I'm going with who's in this match now? This is a thrown together match?
Yeah, Arya Davari, Josh Woods, and the Supreme Athlete Tony Nese going up against Penta, El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix of the Lucha Bros, and Mark Briscoe.
Oh, Briscoe and the Luchas, hands down. There isn't anything left for me to say on this. So, Michael Bullock, make it unanimous.
Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous and go with Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros. So there's really nothing more for me to add on to it.
All right. So with that said, we're gonna move on. Next up that we had here was okay. For the first time in AEW history, a final burial match. Yeah, you heard it. It is a buried alive match. Christian Cage Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Originally, this was announced as a no holds barred match, but Final Burial, that sounds like a Buried Alive match to me. So, first time ever in AEW history. I mean, we'll get to someone who knows a lot more about these matches in just a moment. Wink, wink. So, all right. AEW has been building to this grudge match since Christian Cage betrayed Jungle Boy last June. They faced off at All Out in September, but plans for the match had to be changed due to Christian suffering an injury. Luchasaurus attacked Jungle Boy before the bout, and Cage was able to defeat Jungle Boy in less than a minute. Cage returned from injury in February and picked up right where he left off in antagonizing Jungle Boy. When Jungle Boy attempted to get his revenge by giving Cage a concerto, he hesitated and paid the price for it. Christian capitalized on the moment of hesitation and bloodied Jungle Boy with a steel chair. There will be no hesitation from Jungle Boy this time. His road to winning a singles championship in 2023 starts with defeating Christian Cage at Revolution, even in this Buried Alive stipulation. So I'm going with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, to win this match. So, all right, now let's go to the man who knows more about this match than anybody, Michael Bullock, because it was your man, The Undertaker, who put this match on the map, who put the stipulation match on the map in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it was In Your House, Buried Alive in 1996 when we saw the first ever Buried Alive match when it was him against Mankind. And we've seen more of it since then. So, yeah, so now you got Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Christian Cage going at it in this kind of a match. I mean, that just shows you how personal this is This is between these two, especially ever since Christian Cage made derogatory remarks about Jungle Boy Jack Perry's late father, Luke Perry. So this is Jungle Boy basically saying, "All right, you want to make this personal? I wanted this to be this kind of a match." So, yeah. So I think because of this, I'm gonna go with Jungle Boy Jack Perry to win this one. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
I agree. It's going to be Jack Perry. I mean, it got to a point where something has to give, and there's really nothing more to say. So, yeah, it's a done deal. Nothing more for me to say. Oh, by the way, just to let you guys know, that six-man tag, Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros versus Arya Daivari, Josh Woods, and Tony Nese is actually a pre-show fight, not on the main card. That is officially now been declared a pre-show match.
And rightly so.
And rightfully so. So, now we continue on. Six-man trios, tag team titles on the line. The champions, the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus the challengers, the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good match here with these two. I mean, these three teams here. I mean, yeah, these three. I mean, this is got a chance to be maybe a sleeper fight of the night contender with the body work of these individuals. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say the champs stay the champs. The Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks stay the Trios champion. But I'm telling you, the House of Black will definitely give them a run for their money. So, and don't be surprised if we get a little interference from Julia Hart. So,
yeah,
nothing more. It's yours, Fletch.
I don't know. This is one that I feel tempted to yell new champions. I don't know why. I do. I feel like that the House of Black hasn't really had a moment yet in AEW. And I feel like the momentum that's going, There's rumors about Omega, if he's really going to stay with AEW long term. And all of a sudden, there's even talk about maybe Omega leaving for WWE in the not so distant future. If that's the case, I think it's now time that we see new champions. So for me, I'm about to do something that I didn't think I'm going to do. I disagree. I say the winners and new AEW World Tag Trios Tag Team Champions, the House of Black. Anthony, it's yours.
This has the potential to be a classic. It's the type of match everyone envisioned when the Trios titles were created. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews are all so good in the ring. Their styles should mesh perfectly. Either team winning would be an acceptable outcome. The Trios titles are about such to change hands often. Still, they would probably benefit from a bit of stability now that the Elite are getting a real run as champions. This is likely just the start of the Elite's feud with House of Black. Hopefully, we'll get a singles match between Omega and Malachi Black down the road. But for right now, I'm sorry, I disagree. With MF, I got to go with Bullock here. Winners and still the AEW Trios champions, the Elite. So with that, MF, let's move on to our next match.
All right, and you know what this? Hold on a second, Flinch. Since you were the only one that went with them, you know what you got to do, my friend. There you go.
All right. He wanted me to I lone wolfed it. I had to do it. Sorry, guys. That's part of the rules. That's part of the rules. So, yep. And Michael Bullock is a stickler for that more than anything else. All right. So anyway.
Well, it was more from the show that I like watch NFL Game Day Morning that started all this.
I know, but you're the one that brought it to our shows, so that's why. That's why I'm saying that. So, all right. So next up, Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby Soho, triple threat for the AEW Women's World Title. You know what? I believe this goes to... No, it actually does go to me. Jamie Hayter. I just don't see it going any other way right now. I think they're going to want to keep the belt on her just a little while longer. Winner, still champion, Jamie Hayter. Florio, it's yours.
Ruby Soho is currently stuck in the middle between the AEW originals, Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker, and the outsiders, Saraya and Toni Storm. Saraya's time in AEW, I hate to say, has been a disappointment thus far, but this alignment will hopefully help things. It would have been a mistake to try to force her as a babyface when it wasn't working, and it would have been a mistake to fight against the audience when they clearly want to cheer Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker. This being a three-way match means AEW has the option to take the title off Hayter without her being pinned. Saraya could pin Ruby and claim to be the legitimate women's champion despite never beating Hayter. That would make sense for the storyline, but it is not the direction AEW should go in. It has something special with Hayter right now. Having her lose the title would be overthinking things. So I agree, MF. Winner and still the AEW Women's World Champion. It is Jamie Hayter. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, we know who we want to win. We would love to see Ruby get her moment, but I got a feeling they're going to keep the belt on Hayter a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I got to go with Jamie Hayter to win this one. I mean, I really want to see Ruby Soho win and get her moment, but I just think it's too soon. Jamie Hayter's on an absolute roll right now. And like you said, Saraya's AEW run up to this point is, I hate to say it, but it's been a disappointment. I mean, I was expecting more out of it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So, winner and still AEW Women's World Champion, Jamie Hayter. It is yours, Fletch.
All right, with that said, now we have a one-on-one match, as it is Absolute Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. The Jericho Appreciation Society has been banned from ringside. Anthony, who you got?
when Ricky Starks was able to goad Chris Jericho into accepting this match, he also got Jericho to add the stipulation that the entire Jericho Appreciation Society is banned from ringside. That may be a swerve, setting up that a new Jericho Appreciation Society member will appear and help Jericho win. But even though he's already beaten Jericho once, Starks should not lose here. Starks is someone who should be in contention to take the AEW World Championship from MJF. So I got Ricky Starks winning this match, and especially after what we saw last Wednesday night on Dynamite. But then again, Starks and Jericho had a brawl to go off the air tonight on Rampage. So definitely something to think about. But for right now, I'm going with Ricky Starks to win this match. But if Jericho wins, I wouldn't be surprised. So should be a great match. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, last time, of course, Chris Jericho was somehow able to get one over on Ricky Starks. But I think this time around, what goes around comes around this time. I think Ricky Starks gets this one back. So, winner, Ricky Starks. It is yours, Fletch.
I agree. I'll go Ricky Starks. I was a little torn about it, but I do believe that Ricky should get this one. So, no doubt about it. Nothing more to say. Next up, AEW TNT title on the line. The champion Samoa Joe versus the challenger Wardlow. And I believe this one goes to Michael Bullock. So, Bullock, you lead off. It's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be another good match here. But, I mean, look, Samoa Joe, I mean, he just won the TNT title back. I just think it's too soon for him to drop the belt. So, to me, winner and still the TNT champion, Samoa Joe. And you know how he's going to do it, Florio. Come on, say it with me.
The Coquita Clutch.
Exactly. That's how he's going to do it, with the Coquita Clutch. So, yeah, it's going to be, unfortunately, night-night for Mr. Wardlow. So, nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it to Wardlow. I mean, I'll give it to Joe. Even though my heart wants to say Wardlow win the bout, because of the fact that I think they're going to want to push. Because remember, the next guy who wins that match is going to have to face off and go after for the next one. So we'll have to fight Powerhouse Hobbs. But, I'm with you on this one. I believe Joe's going to win it and successfully defend. So, Florio, it's yours.
Oh, I'm lone wolf in this, boys.
Oh!
How do you like that? I am lone wolfing. I'm lone wolfing
it. That's the first. Yeah. That's a first right here.
First for Anthony Florio lone wolfing.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling froggy. I'm jumping, boys.
All right.
Samoa Joe and
Wardlow. That just made my damn night.
That's the idea. Samoa Joe and Wardlow were briefly tag team partners before Joe turned against him in November. Their match at New Year's Smash ended with Joe taking advantage of an injury and making Wardlow pass out in a chokehold. Joe then added insult to injury by cutting off Wardlow's ponytail, which Wardlow had grown as part of a tribute to his late father. With that being part of the story for this match, there's no way Wardlow loses. Winner and once again, the TNT champion, Wardlow. How do you follow that?
Wow, you know what? I did not realize that. You know what? I don't think you know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm doing it right now. I'm actually going with you, Florio. You brought up a very valid point. I did not realize that. No, I actually disagree. I'm gonna rescind my original pick, and I'm actually gonna go with the new champion. So no, you just made you just convinced me to change. So I'm gonna do it. I'm now going with Wardlow now. Bullock, I mean, what Florio just brought, that was compelling evidence there. I did not realize that. All right. So with that said, next up, death match. Texas death match. Jon Moxley versus Adam Hangman Page. All right, this has been back and forth. This has been one of the biggest wars we've had in AEW today. And I really believe when this is all said and done, I think they're going to give this to Mox. I don't know why. I think Moxley's going to win this one. A lot of people are saying Moxley's going to win the death match over Hangman. I'm going to go John Moxley, even though my heart says Hangman Adam Page, but I honestly think Moxley's going to win it. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Nope, disagree. I'm going Hangman.
All right.
This feud started after a scary incident when Hangman Adam Page was legitimately concussed during a match against John Moxley last October, that special Tuesday Dynamite in Mox's hometown of Cincinnati. We all remember that. Since then, Moxley and Hangman have each defeated the other once. Given how much Moxley bleeds during normal matches, it's hard to imagine how violent this Texas death match will be. Hangman will rise to Moxley's level of violence and get the win here. It makes sense to establish Hangman as a future challenger for MJF, while Moxley and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club turn heel. So, Hangman Adam Page wins the Texas death match. If it wasn't for the main event, this definitely would have stolen the damn show any other night. But
yeah.
But you know these matches, MF. You know, I mean, we all know Bullock knows Buried Alive matches better than any of us. You know these matches better than anybody, and oh boy, that's all I'm gonna say. So if you're squeamish, and I recommend don't watch this because I'm just putting it out there. Viewer discretion strongly advised for this match.
Agreed.
This is not going to be PG at all. There's not going to be just a little blood, gentlemen. There's going to be buckets. I believe it, and that's just from Mox alone. But anywho, all kidding aside, Hangman Adam Page wins the death match. This has potential match of the year candidate on it. So not much more for me to say. So Bullock, who do you agree with? Do you agree with MF and Mox, or do you agree with me and Hangman?
Whew, this is a tough one to call, but I'm with Florio on this one. I'm going with Hangman Adam Page to win this one, to get one over on John Moxley. But this is going to be the fight. This is going to be a sleeper fight of the night, maybe a candidate for match of the year. And yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of blood in this one. So Hangman wins. So it is your Fletch.
All right. Next up, we do have is the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Guns, the reigning champions, versus the Acclaim, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. So, Anthony Florio, it is yours.
A World Tag Team title match that none of us asked for, to be honest with you. But alas, here we are. It was shocking to see the Guns defeat the Acclaim for the World Tag Team Championships last month. Austin and Colton Gunn are effective heels, but they are not a team that should be the tag team champions right now. The tag team division has always been one of the best parts of AEW. Putting the titles on a team that is not ready has the chance to jeopardize that. The story between the Guns and the Acclaim looks likely to continue past Revolution. The Guns can pin fan favorite Danhausen on Sunday night, retaining their titles and getting even more heat in the process. And I heard an interesting rumor that a certain team that we haven't been seeing in a while could be, keywords, could be the team that could dethrone the Guns. So we're going to have to think about that one. So, but for right now, I'm going to say the Guns retain by some sort of chicanery. So winners and still AEW Tag Team Champions, the Guns. So, Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Guns to retain the titles here. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Guns win, no doubt about it. I'm not going to harp too much more on this. Main event is the 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Title. The champion, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, versus the challenger, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. So Anthony Florio, I should say Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event of the evening.
Well, what can we say, Fletch? I mean, this is no doubt going to be the fight of the night, hands down. I mean, I've done a lot of thinking. I've done a lot of thinking on this one because I've been going back and forth with this one all throughout the week. I mean, do I go with MJF to retain the title, or do I go with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson? Because this has just been so built. This has been built up so much. It's been so personal. I mean, this thing to me can go either way. I mean, Maxwell Jacob Freeman has been getting into the head of Bryan Danielson with all the things he said, while Danielson with the whole fight for your dream, just like he did in WWE. I mean, making people believe he's going to do it. So this has been so built up so well, and this is so tough. I mean, like I said, I had to do a lot of thinking, but I don't know. I got this funny feeling that Bryan Danielson's going to do it. I mean, I believe he's going to do it. So I'm going to say it, and if I'm the only person that does it, doesn't matter. So winner and the new AEW World Champion, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. If MJF does win, I would not at all be surprised. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's just say, I mean, when it comes to the three of us, this is not an easy choice.
It is not an easy choice. I totally agree with that because of the fact of the magnitude of this moment and the magnitude of the match. Going into this, I was thinking Bryan Danielson. But lately, I feel like if you win a match like this, it's supposed to really put everything, together. And the one thing that I've been thinking is, who would benefit more from this win? Bryan Danielson has been the guy that everybody wants to see holding the AEW World title. Like, literally wanting to hold the AEW World Championship. But MJF just got the belt not too long ago. At the last pay-per-view, he won the title, realized his dream, and became the champion. And some people have said that his run as AEW champion has been uninspiring, underwhelming. And as a matter of fact, some people even called it a failure up to this point. That maybe that MJF should not have been the AEW World Champion. I kind of feel like they gotta give him a chance. So for me, at the end of this, I'm actually gonna say it. The winner and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. I think he successfully defends the title. Anthony, it's yours.
There have been some personal elements to MJF and Bryan Danielson's storyline, like MJF being the person to take out Danielson's mentor, William Regal, literally out of AEW. But the appeal here is seeing how MJF will hang with Danielson over 60 minutes. While there are bound to be points when he stalls and cheats, this should be a legitimate victory for MJF. He cannot lose the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in his first pay-per-view title defense. Fans should leave Revolution feeling like MJF was the better wrestler on this night. So I'm with you, MF. Winner and still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, even though, in all honesty, my heart wants to see Bryan Danielson finally get the moment. But
absolutely.
So that's all I can say on that. If he does, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. But for right now, I just got to go with MJF, considering this is his first pay-per-view title defense. So
yeah,
he can't lose the belt here. So MJF retains. So
Bullock, right on cue. I was waiting. How about that? All three of us had a moment where we all lone wolfed it. Unreal. All right, guys. So we're done. We're out of here. Monday night, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw. Then Wednesday night is gonna be Wednesday Night Madness. We will indeed recap AEW Revolution at that night. Then we do the usual NXT, and we will have AEW Dynamite. Thursday right now we have is strictly sports, and this time actually no, TXN Sports World. I caught myself. I got a little too wound up there. It is TXN Sports World. Sorry guys, strictly sports is not our show. It belongs to somebody else now. But we got XFL. We got a couple of trades that still came through from the NHL. We'll cover that just briefly. But the main reason why we're going to be doing it, the conference week tournaments, Big East, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC. We got the big ones going down. Who's going to punch their tickets? The automatic bids to the NCAA tournament. We'll find out. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, we do this all over again at 11 p.m. Eastern for yet another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you on Monday.